Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be talking today about how you can build scratch-built cars even without having a lot of the more advanced techniques that some of the guys do. I really do admire the guys that take the time to solder up their own custom brass chassis and hunt down, the parts and stuff that they need. But um, I'm more just looking for something that I can put on my Carrera digital track and have something different to run. So I talked before in the past about how you can take a 124 scale Carrera car and swap the body with another 124 scale car. But that doesn't work for everything because there are a lot of 125th scale model kits out there, and it's very difficult. It's almost impossible to get a 124 scale Carrera chassis to look good underneath them. So what I've done is I've been converting 132nd scale chassis up to 125th scale. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a lot simpler than you think. And you can get these pretty cheap because they're a good candidate. I'll tell you what to look for in a good candidate here. You want a car with whopping wheels, okay? Because the this Camaro comes with this chassis, and this tire diameter is gigantic. So I'm going to compare that to this is a 125th scale model kit car tire. Look at that. That Camaro has the same tire diameter. So now the front's slightly smaller, just by a tiny bit. That will allow you to keep your car planted about as it should be. I have some issues, and I mean you're going to have to be resourceful, but this is a good candidate. Another good candidate is the Torino, and these are widely available, and I think the Mopar uses the same tires. Again, that tire is really just slightly smaller. So let me show you what I've done here. So you start with this, and you figure out what tires and wheels you want to put on. And I got these tires and wheels from AliExpress. I got these two sizes. This is the 124 scale size, and this is the 125th, or it's listed as 128th, but I want to show you how close it is to the 125th scale. They're sold as defects. You can see there's a little flash on this one. A couple of them are missed in the back, but you get 30 in a box, I think, for 12 bucks shipped, something like that. I'll put a link. And these, I think you get 35 in a box. So you get a box of each, you get 25 bucks. I'm getting really good grip with these on my painted track when compared to my Carrera tires, which as you see here. And I'm going to do a video where I test times with various cheap tires that I found. But I got to set up a plastic temporary track. I have an Arton track I'm going to set up to do that. So that video is coming, but I'm not sure when I'll get around to it. So let me show you what they fit. So this is the 124 scale tire from AliExpress. This is, comes with your model kit, 124 scale. Fits in there, just a light press fit. And there you go. You got so you can use the the hubcaps that come with your model kit. For the 128 scale tire that they list, these are the 125th scale mags. Same thing. So, you've got both, and you can mix and match them a little bit. So what I've done, and I've got a Dropbox link where I'm going to share these files with you, is what I've done is I've created some hub adapters. This is just a little 3D printed object. You can 3D print them. There's a little notch inside there. And you got to clean them up a little bit, to make sure you got them nice and round with the file and make sure they fit. And these are a very, very tight fit. What you do is you take the tire off the chassis, and you press fit one of my adapters on. So this is the Torino chassis here with regular tires, and this is the Torino chassis with the 128 scale tires on, with my adapters pressed on. See? You can glue them on. I've got some of them to fit so tight they don't need glue, but this one right here I made loose so I can pop it off and show you. So the adapter's inside the tire, just pops over top of it, and I'm running this car on the track. So you got to figure out what size tire you want. Now the adapters come with different offsets for how wide the body is. So let's look at a model kit real quick here. This is one that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's a Mustang, pretty small car. This probably came with a small 14-inch tire from the factory. So here's the body. It's pretty narrow, so I'm going to use probably something like this, and you can see the tire diameter. It fills the wheel well up really nice. It's going to be a good good car. It just needs the wheelbase lengthened a little bit, and pop my hubcaps in there. Now some of these, I have 3 different offset settings. There's 6 files in the Dropbox. There is the 128 scale tire, and they're all designed to fit the Torino hub, because the Torino hub's the easiest. The Camaro hub's a little harder. If somebody wants those files, just let me know. I'll send them to you. This is a smaller hub, and it fits easier. This hub will not fit the 128 scale tires. You have to use the 124th, because it's just too big around. So, but once you have the tires you want on there, and you have the width set right by putting the correct offset. So like this car is wider than the Mustang. Sorry, these are white cars against a white background. I should have thought this out in advance. But you can see that this Nova is a little bit wider. So I'm going to use a little bit more hubs with a wider offset. And once again, that's going to fill that up really nice. Put a mag hub in there, and it's just going to be a great looking slot car. And once, I got a 66 Nova. That was actually a slot car kit from AMT, and it had this metal chassis that I didn't like. So once you got that done, you've got to lengthen the chassis. So here's a Torino chassis, like I just showed you, that I cut in half with a hacksaw, right down there, and stretched it out and just glued some square brass stock in there. Made it nice and square from side to side, and glued some brass stock in there. This particular car has the 1/24th wheels and tires front and back, and the reason I did that is because of the application that this is going to be used on. Now by doing that, it made the magnet lose contact, because these are bigger tires. So I put the magnet down and put a little plastic over it, and I'm going to probably add a magnet in the front. But I mean, it runs okay. I extended the guide flag down a little bit too. I don't know if you can see that. So sometimes you got to get creative. This is not the ideal setup with the 1/24 scale tires, but this is a body that I got at Ollie's for $10. Now this is a pre-painted body, so even if you can't paint cars very well, which I'm not very good at it, I ruin like 2 for every one that turns out. You can buy these. Look for model kits labeled Pro Shop, Pro Finish. One's AMT, I think one's MPC, or I don't know who. And then the other one by Polar Lights is called American Classic Rides, or something like Great American Rides, I think it is. And they come painted. So I'll show you some of these. This one, like I said, I got it from Ollie's for $10. I got the Camaro, I got the Challenger, and I just could never get these on my track. But now I can, because by stretching this out and using my hub adapters, I've got a really nice fit for this particular car. It may not be the fastest car in the world, but you know what? If I run them against each other, that's fine. So yeah, that's one application. I showed you what you can do with the 128 wheels all around. This is 124 wheels all around. And this car has a mix. So this is the Camaro chassis, and the Camaro chassis is nice because the magnets are infinitely adjustable, because they mount from the outside. You can put shims underneath these, and you can run these magnets down to here if you want to, if you build a monster truck. So this is a really good chassis, and I mean, they're on sale. They're really good price. I had to change the axles to use these smaller tires in the front, but I got small tires in the front, big tires in the back. Stretched it out with my brass tubing, or brass square stock, and on the bottom I moved the magnet from here up to here. This car actually runs pretty decent. There's one slight issue. It's not a huge issue, but it's a slight issue. I noticed a slight drop in the torque because of the 1/32 scale gearing in the back. I don't know, but I mean, it runs fine enough for me. And this is the body that goes on it. Now, one of the things that I use to mount the bodies, get yourself some of these little brass standoffs. They come with screws and everything. Just get a few of them, so you got a selection, so you got different heights, and then glue them in underneath the body. I screw them to the chassis first, screw them down tight to the chassis, and then settle the body on it and then let it glue down. And yeah, that's the simple mounting system. So, and this one has the lights and everything, and all I got to do is finish the driver. I got the interior all put together. So this will go on here like this, and I'm running decent lap times with this car. But you got the small tire in the front and then the bigger tire in the back, so you got that little staggered look that was kind of popular basically when I was a kid, and it's still popular with people like me. So yeah, this is another car, and this allows me to have a much wider selection. I mean, I know it's kind of strange that, making all these cars by hand. I got some glue streamed over that. But the only other option is to sit on our butts and hope somebody in Europe pays somebody in China to make the things we want. And I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to live forever. So that's a couple different options. Here's a Polar Lights pre-painted car, this GTO. I plan to put this together. I'm not sure if I'm going to stagger that or just put the small wheels all around. So, that's the options there. So when they come off the printer, they're going to be like this. You clean a little bit of the debris off there. And yeah, so a hub adapters. I made the hub adapters. The ones in the Dropbox are for the Torino. But you could really just with a caliper make your own hub adapters for anything. Get yourself some cheap tires, slice your chassis in half and stretch it out. I paid $34 for these, $34.90 some. I got 3 of them with free shipping from Carrera. They're great. It's just a great little, well, the cars, whatever. But I mean, I can make a model kit with digital chip and everything, just by taking an old chassis and modifying it. So I got a lot of cars to work on, a lot of projects to work on. But yeah, this has really been an obstacle for me. Like, what can I do with all these 1/25th scale model kits? How can I make them, put them on the track? And, thanks to Ollie's and $10, I'm going to have some pretty cool cars. I plan to play the Ronnie and the Daytona song every time I run this one, to annoy my friends. I'm not saying they're going to be the fastest cars in the world, but it's a pretty economical solution to, giving you a lot more options. And even if you can't paint, there's quite a few of these cars that come pre-painted. You maybe even, some of them are expensive. I mean, you can't always I think I paid $20 for this one from eBay, this Polar Lights. I love it. It's a great car, GTO convertible. You got to modify the interior. That always sucks. You got to chop the interior up. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. I'm going to have a Dropbox. You can download the files, give them a try. And I'll do a better tire test on plastic track once I get one sent up. I got those tires to test, and I want to test some other tires. But yeah, so that's it. So, all right, guys. American cars. We need them. All right, have a good one.